Good. All right. So for me, book number two, these are, by the way, I don't have them. Did you prioritize yours or just put them?
No, no particular
Okay. All right.
order.
Yeah. Okay. So mine are the same way. No particular order. Just my 10. All right. So number two for me is a book titled Vertical Diversification by D. Howard Doan. So he was like the Secretary of Agriculture in like 1930 or something like that. And and when he retired and he was an older man, somebody asked him to compile his wisdom of all the things that he had done. And he wrote this book, Vertical Diversification. And it's what it is, it's about farmers diversifying away from just a one commodity thing and diversifying vertically. Vertically above the commodity would be value adding, like making cornflakes out of corn. Okay. And then he also taught diversifying below, which would be like making your own fertilizer. Okay. And so it's just a fascinating book and has been really critical in my my direct marketing, branding, and business trying to diversify from just chickens and beef. Well, can we make chicken soup? Can we make pot pies? Can we make broth and all the different things? So very powerful book. And today now, of course, it came out in like 1950. A lot of mine are going to be really old ones. This one. This one, the cool thing about it, I mean, this came out in like 1950, and he's got pictures and stories there of people who were shipping there were very few food regulations, so there were people home butchering chickens, canning chicken, and selling it by the box through U.S. Postal Service into town
Wow.
because it was too hard to get to town. Cars were limited and the roads were bad. And so even from 20 miles away, people had their town customers and they would send by postal service, they would send boxes of canned tomatoes and canned stuff into the city, into their urban customers. All that is illegal today. So
Wow.
it's just a fabulous book of real time opportunity in farming from that day.
That's awesome. And it's amazing to see how things have changed, you
Yeah,
know.
it sure is.
So that's great. So I will confidently say I do not have that book. That's not on my list, but but it sounds great.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, here's my second book. I'm curious to see if you've read this one. It's The Jefferson Lies by David Barton.
No, I'm familiar with it, but I don't have it. No, I don't.
Okay, familiar with David Barton?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so love David Barton. This was okay. The subtitle is Exposing the Myths You've Always Believed About Thomas Jefferson. So this was so David Barton is always, captivating to me. As you know, he has the largest private collection of the founding documents. So I love going to the original source, and
Yeah.
he cites things so well through his book. So you don't have to take his word for it. You go to the original source. So what happened was, before I got into the politics of the food supply, I was basically listening to a lot of David Barton and others, and I realized just how duped I was in the area of history. Right? Just growing up
Mm,
in the California
yeah.
school system. I
Sure.
mean, it's like some things were just completely flipped backwards.
Yeah.
So I had this
Hmm.
completely different perception of America and our founding fathers and everything. So he helped me to basically lift that, veil of dupedness, if that's a word,
Uh-huh.
and realize that, wait a minute, like I've been duped in this area. What other areas may I have been duped in? And
Mhm.
I don't like to live in lies. I'm always looking for truth. So what happened was I was so fascinated by this. I'm literally sitting in Costco with my husband one day because we used to
Mhm.
go there and get like the pizza, from Costco on his lunch break, right? This tells you how far I've come, Joel. And
Wow.
and I was like, I just had my first son, and I was like, I really want to write a book about something because I've always wanted to be a writer. And he goes, well, they say you should write what you know about. What do you know and what do you like? And I said, well, I'm really interested in this political stuff now. And I really know food. And he's like, well, then why don't you write about the politics of the food supply? And my response was, there's no politics in food.
Ah, oh me. Yeah.
Who won't even eat vegetables goes, are you kidding me? Where have you been? And I'm like, no. So he goes, just go look it up. So I started to research recombinant bovine growth hormone from reading that label on the back of our milk carton. That
Uh-huh.
turned into a 110-page written Word document of everything that I had exposed in RBGH, which then dwindled down into one chapter in my first book.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the cool thing about where it comes full circle with this book of Thomas Jefferson Lies is that right after I finished writing the book and I was going to launch it, and I didn't know anybody. So um, I helped to co-host an event in Virginia where David Barton was our keynote speaker.
Oh, wow.
And I
Wow.
had just published that book, and they
Mhm.
let me have a booth, and they let me take the stage right before David Barton came on. I got to take the stage and I got to tell what my book was about. And then I got to introduce him. So I actually got to sit backstage with him and have a conversation
Uh-huh.
about just everything. And he was attacked a lot. And so I would ask him, like, how do you keep moving forward? Because he gets death threats and things.
Mhm.
And it was a great conversation where he was talking about how you have to realize it's not about you. None of this is about you. This is about being a messenger for God and
Mhm.
what God has told you to do. And as long as you stay the course, you can look at yourself in the mirror every night and sleep peacefully. And that's what I do. And I was
Right.
like, wow, so full circle there that he opened my eyes, along with some others, to corruption. And then I got to launch my book right there with him in the room.
Wow, that is very cool. Ah, good, great, great story. All right, well, we're gonna have to pick up the pace here. We're never gonna get done. So my next book for me is Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That book from a self-improvement standpoint, everybody's got to read that book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I mean, I read that thing and just I just can't say enough of the good. I mean, probably one of the best. I mean, just those things just resonate. Sharpen the saw, emotional equity. Fill your gas tank with your emotional equity gas tank with other people. Stay within your sphere of influence. I mean, those are just such powerful, powerful things. So, I'm really a fan of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
I love it. Okay. Now we're on lightning round. So my next book is World Without Cancer by Edward Griffin. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Okay, so this book was great for me because it did uncover more of, I'm going to say, the corruption and just how the government and industry operate together, like in like lockstep, and how important it is for them to suppress natural remedies. And it also was affirming that it's another example of how you can reverse chronic conditions like cancer. So this was a really in my early studies, this was a really eye-opening and affirming book for me to read.
Yeah. He also wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island. And
Yes.
boy, if you want to whatever become a tinfoil hat, uh, read The Creature from Jekyll Island.
Yes. Donnie
Yeah,
loved that book.
yeah, Griffin is great. All right, next one for me, The Unsettling of America by Wendell Berry. The Unsettling of America by Wendell Berry. You know, Berry is just he's considered the catalyst of the modern sustainable ag movement, and he's one of these guys that when I grow up, I want to be able to write like Wendell Berry. He is a
Oh,
poet. He's just an amazing guy. I've been able to have the privilege of being able to be with him in his home. We've done things, and he's just an icon. He is a treasure, American treasure. He's getting pretty elderly now, and I mean, the guy's written what, 60 books. He writes every single morning in a tree house above a river. So he goes to this tree house that's all glassed around, and writes every morning for 3 or 4 hours with a number two pencil in a spiral notebook. He won't use an ink pen. He won't use a typewriter. I mean, the guy is a total iconoclast, but what he has cranked out and the depth of his thinking is just it's just unbelievable. And so of all the Barry books that I've read, The Unsettling of America, I think, captures the deep heart of our love of the land, love of community, more than any other book that I've ever seen.